And I just realized I was muted that whole time. So that's awesome. So let's redo that. And we will jump back here. Hi, welcome. In this stream, we're going to go through building out a form builder using Ruby on Rails, Hotwire, Stimulus, and Tailwind CSS. The goal of this is to explore how these different things work together and how we can build a very responsive, reactive, front-end heavy application using Rails without having to reach for a JavaScript framework like React or Vue or Svelte. So with that, let's jump back in, go back to Dribble. I apologize for the audio for the audio being muted there. Let's jump back in, look at Dribble. We're going to see how we can build one of these kind of visual form builders and use these things without having to reach for something like React.js, right? Like that's kind of the goal here. So let's jump back in. All right, now that you can actually hear me, which I think is important, or, you know, listen to the music and go with the flow, whatever works for you. Let's see. I like how this is kind of like the visual email builder kind of flow there. Let me actually prompt ChatGPT over here for some project names while we're exploring on Dribble. Let's see. All right, so while it's thinking about that, yeah, we'll see if any of these work. All right, so this is kind of cool, like that. Let's go ahead and save that, and let's create a new collection for form builders. And let's create that. Let's add it. Oh, let's add it there. Done. Cool. Let's go back. See what else we can find. Okay, yeah, that's kind of similar. That's kind of what we want, right? We want to be able to have a preview here and just kind of design our form right there and then kind of switch back and forth. I think we're going to have the concept of like a pre-form and a post-form. So like you could fill out a form, have like a confirmation, and then have like a follow-up, like give us your feedback, for example. And I think we could build a really cool interface around that. Let's see. Maybe we'll jump into Figma and we'll actually mock some of this up so you can see. But I'm really liking this one so far. Go ahead and give that one a like, add that to our shots. Right, we have our sidebar on the right over here, which I actually prefer. Have it all over here. Most people are right-handed, the majority of people. And so having it over there on the right, I think just makes sense. You can drag stuff out. You can visualize your form here. It still leaves room on the left if you have like an application sidebar or something, right? You're not doubling up sidebar next to sidebar, which in my opinion is just not good UX there. And I kind of love how the field configure toolbar over here, the side panel or sidebar is like, it's fixed. But then I think when you select, okay, so you get a preview up there. Interesting. I'm wondering how, I'm wondering how you configure the settings for each field, because that's one thing that we'll want to figure out, right? And have some type of properties inspector where we can change the settings for the different fields. But this is pretty cool. I think this is kind of what we want to do, right? So we'll keep that for reference. Let's go to Figma. Let me pull that over here. Hold on. I got something for this. Oh, there we go. Let's see. I'm actually okay with some of that. All right, so let's just grab this here now that we're signed in. All right, essentially, let's see. Do we have any frames in here? And let me pull you back on. There we go. All right, do we have any? Whoops. Ugh, remove the camera ever. So slightly. All right. There we go. I think that's better. All right, so change that. Okay. So what do we want to create here? Like, I really like how, so we have the tabs here. I think we want something similar to that. Maybe we don't need to mock it up because I think we're going to use Tailwind UI, which let me sign into that as well. I might already be signed in. There we go. Yep. So we use Tailwind UI and we can kind of jumpstart. We can jumpstart our UI because we're probably going to have some type of sidebar layout in here. Maybe like assuming we have more functionality other than just the form builder. Yeah, because I'm thinking maybe we just build this out as like an example app where we can kind of sandbox and test out different ideas, right? And flip between those. That could be cool. That could be fun. But then that limits our screen space to this, which I think is still fine, right? I think that's still plenty. I don't know. I really, really like this one so far. Let's go back. Let's see, where did that one go? This one? Yeah. Some really nice, simple, clean UI. Good job. Like that's nice. It's nice and clean, simple, straightforward. And that's kind of what we're going for, right? Yeah. So let's think about this. What are we going to need for our form, right? We're going to need a few things. We're going to need a form model, right? Let's just think in terms of data models. Okay. So we're going to need a form. We're going to need a form field. And we're going to need a form. What do we want to call this? Like a form template, right? And so, right, because we want this concept of a pre and a post form, right? Whoops. So we're gonna have kind of two forms, right? So we'll just do this. And that's not at all what I want to do, but okay. Just copy that. And I'm thinking we're gonna have something like this, right? So we're gonna have our well, that's not the right approach. Come on. Okay. So we're gonna have our preform take us to our confirmation page, and then group things here. We can. Okay. Then our confirmation page will optionally allow you to go to a post form and ask additional questions, right? And so we want these forms to contain these templates, right? I guess they could be, they're like forms within the form, right? So I think a template's probably a good name for them, not to overthink it. And our fields are going to belong to those templates, right? So we're going to have a form template is going to have form fields, right? So this would be belongs to form. That's no. Form has many form fields, and then this one's going to be belongs to form template, and this one's going to be has many form templates, right? So that's kind of our initial data model, and this is going to have a what is it, type? I think type is reserved, right? So this could be like template type, and this can either be free or post. Those are only values there. And yeah, we can flesh some of these out, right? So this is going to have a name. Confirmation message. What else? Permalink. What else do we need for the form? I don't know. We could add more things if we wanted to. Yeah. That could be like has. Well, whether you have a post form or not, you could just create one, right? That would probably be fine. Probably don't need to change anything for that. Okay. Let's see. What else do we want? Maybe we don't worry about this piece yet. Because I would think we still want them tied to the form to begin with. So let's just do this. Let's say belongs to form, has many form fields. Let's just simplify it just a little bit, right? So let's go here for our form field. So we're gonna say unique identifier, and we're going to use this if you wanted for like reporting purposes, right? Or if you want to download a CSV, we're going to give you a kind of a column name that's going to be a unique identifier. This will end up being some type of you know, like permalink from the label, maybe from the label. But you could also set this to override it, right? So like maybe the default is from the label, default to label, parameterized something. And what else? So we're gonna have a label. We're gonna have placeholder. We are going to have help text input type, right? And this is gonna be something like text, email, phone number, what else? What else do we want to support? The radio button, checkbox, select. And which this would be commonly referred to as like a drop down. We're going to start with just those. I know we talked about adding dependent ones, but we'll start with these. Checkbox number, email. And maybe what do we call this? A WYSIWYG editor. What you see is what you get. Maybe we'll do that. What else do we need? Let's go back here. We like that one. Oh, let's look at that. I like that. That's kind of cool. Placeholder text. Yeah, set a default value. Oh, I like that. All right. So let's just break that out there. All right. So input type, placeholder, text, label, text. Do we need that? I don't think we need that. Default value. Required. whether it's disabled, so we can do like some conditional enablement if we wanted to. I like that they have this concept of form sections, right? And this section can have a header, description, and this belongs to a form section, and this has many form sections. Has many form fields as well, and going to belong to both. And then this one needs to belong to form, header, description. I need like an order on here, right? So we can determine where to place the section. So you can kind of move it around, but I like that. I like that. Let's think of let's think of a couple of other things. I really want to be thinking about accessibility as well when we're building this out, right? And you could have fields that don't have a label, but we still need to provide a label for screen readers, for example. We could approach that in a couple of different ways, right? Like, one, we could just check in our label partial if there's a label present, and if there's not, then we should always have an ARIA label there for the screen reader. I think regardless. So maybe we don't need to call that out here more explicitly. Excuse me. Okay. So I like this. I like where this got us with the sections, because this is a really nice form builder where you're kind of maximizing the space there. I also love the kind of overlay quick actions they have here, right? These quick actions there, looks like you can move these around or change them in some way. Love that. Curious if for these sections we have like a concept of like rows and columns is what it looks like. And I think that would be really cool. To just use a grid with this in some way to restrict it to a specific number of rows and columns. And so you could then have drop targets within those columns, right? The rows and the columns, to be able to drop fields into. And that would be pretty cool, because then we could, you could really lay these out however you want. It doesn't have to just be top down. You could have some more complex field layouts or form layouts like this. I like how everything's collapsible, right? It's nice and configurable. We have some nice toggles here for different things. Yeah, here we go. Save view setting, horizontal field, form, columns. Okay, so it's setting it on the form itself, but then some of these are stretching the full width. Obviously, this setting's not enabled. We're using toggles for that though. I'm actually curious if Tailwind has any toggle components. Let's see. All right, there's a form layout. Actually, I don't think they do. Not in the general sense of like, oh, there it is, toggle. Right in front of my face. Okay, they do. Okay. So we could also create a cool toggle component with what are we doing? Enabled, set enabled. Yeah. With stimulus, right? Use a stimulus controller here and create a component for this. That would be pretty cool. Maybe we'll do that in another stream. We'll actually go through and just like, because I've been wanting to explore this view component gem by GitHub to create Rails components and then be able to test those components. And being able to, they're like 10 times faster or something in real world use, unless they claim, and they've, GitHub uses these everywhere apparently. And then be able to like tie those to a stimulus controller for any of the JavaScript functionality. I think that would be really cool. And you have these nice reusable components you can use everywhere in your application. So maybe we'll do that in another stream, and we'll just go through here, go through Tailwind, and just find different components and build them up as reusable components. Like, I think that'd be a fun way to learn the library. So we'll probably do that. All right. So let's see. I think this is all we need for now. We're gonna have our form, right? So how many form fields? We're gonna have our name, permalink, and actually we can go to dbdiagram.io. This is another one that I may have to sign into. Oh no, I'm already signed in. Okay, cool. All right, yeah, but this is another really cool app that I'd like to use to go ahead and model our database, right? And so we can see the first thing we have is forms, right? And we're gonna have an ID, integer, primary key, and let's see, we'll create it at timestamp. Updated at, what else do we have? So we have a name, varchar. We have our permalink. We have our confirmation message. Make that text. Our name, maybe that's like our internal name, and we have like name, permalink, and we have like header, text, Where's just header? Varchar, and our description is just text. Okay. You can't see this right now because we have broken this. We're not just comment these out for now, so we're not setting up our references. There we go. Okay. We do need 3 tables, but we're just going to get rid of this just so we can see kind of what we're working on here. Okay, so we have our name, permalink, header, description, confirmation message, created at, updated at. We probably need some type of state in here as well. Right, that could actually be an enum or something if we wanted to. Pretty sure Postgres has an enum type. Although we don't need to necessarily take advantage of it for this. But that we can have draft and active and even deleted forms or archived forms, be able to capture that. Okay, so we have our form. We need our form section. We probably should have our user and tie the forms to a user and do all of that. We're not really worried about authentication in this. I am very eager to explore the new authentication in Rails 8. So stay tuned for some videos on that coming in the near future. Okay, so we need form sections. All right, we're gonna have an ID, primary key. Yep. We're gonna have a form ID, and let's see, this is going to be a integer. I guess you don't do it there, right? So here's where we would use one of these refs. And let's just open this up. So we would say that our our forms sections dot form ID is forms. Right, a form may have many form sections. Yes, that's what we want. Okay, created at, updated at, of course. And let's see, what else do we have? So, description. Let's see, rows, integer, columns, integer, order, and that should be good. Oops. And let's see, next up we need a table for our form fields. And let's go ahead and just steal a bunch of this. All right. So we want that. We want these. And we want our form template ID. And set up our ref. So form fields dot form ID equals forms dot ID. And we also want to say form fields dot form section ID is form sections ID. Oh, we did template. Let's change that. Okay, so let's see here. Make sure we have these right. We have a form. A form can have many form sections. A form can also no, we need to flip this, right? Okay, one form may have many sections. One form may have many form fields. A form field, this should be 1-to-1. So how do we do 1-to-1 here? That's not. Also. Okay. Okay, so form field. So a section should have many fields. Right? Right, form section can have many fields. And we also need a ref form fields.id form sections. No. What do we need? What do we need? We need a form field. Okay. So a form has many form fields. A form field should belong to a form section, right? I wish we could move. Can we move this? Not in the way that I want. How do we do? I don't know how to do like a 1-to-1. Right, so it'd be like. I don't know how to do that in here. Anyways, you get the gist of it. So that's kind of like what we want in our application, right? So we have a form has form sections. Section will have order, number of rows and columns, and maybe the form could have rows and columns, but I feel like that should be defined by the section itself, and the sections are full width, and then you can control within those sections the rows and columns. But maybe it does make sense. Yeah, but see, these are stretching, right? So if you want full width control within the sections, I think we'll keep it like that to begin with. Okay, so that being said, probably not going to use view component for it right now. And I think we'll just start with that. So let's go back and let's see what names were generated for us using the AI overlords. Formatic, pretty sure that's a product already. Formcraft, I like that. Forma, Formistry, Formnation. I like Formcraft. I mean, it's not going to be available, but like, so we can find one that's available. I don't think any of these are going to be available. Let's try it. Let's. Let's try again. Try one more time. Okay. It's also not available, ChatGPT. Neither is that. Do you ever feel like it's just kind of whack-a-mole, like with ChatGPT? I know, like, the better your prompt, right, the better results you get, but it's it's not. Sometimes it can be good. Sometimes it's really annoying, I would say. That one was available for $3,000. That's cool. Let's try one more time. We're gonna take a quick break. I'm gonna let this run. I basically said, you know, give me 100 of these. And I'm going to take a quick break. We'll be back in a couple of minutes, and we'll actually jump in, start building the application, and get going on this. All right, we'll be right back. All right, and we are back. All right, so we're going to go ahead and install Ruby 3.3.5. So we can try to use Rails 8 Beta 1, which I believe just dropped yesterday. If you haven't seen the keynote, check it out. It was pretty cool. A lot of cool stuff coming. So we're going to use it. So right now, yeah, we're just waiting for this to download. So enjoy the music. Grab a snack, grab a drink, and yeah, we'll get going as soon as this wraps up. Pretty excited to turn my audio on so you can actually hear me, forgetting that twice today. So that's good. But yeah, super easy to install the beta. What I was saying is I haven't really played with the betas of Rails before, because I work on a production application and I have for the past almost 9 years. And so I've created lots of Rails applications for learning and teaching and stuff like that. But I haven't actually played with the beta versions. I usually just wait until they drop. And then once they do, I switch. And once they release, I have played with a release candidate, maybe. But regardless, we're gonna use some of the new stuff here. So we've got Rails 8 beta 1 ready to go. So let's go ahead and create our application. Rails new, and we're gonna just call it form builder. And let's see, database is Postgres. We're gonna skip tests because we're gonna use RSpec. For JavaScript, we're going to use ES build, and for CSS, we're going to use Tailwind. And what else? Let's let it rip. That should be good. Right, and then we'll kind of jump straight into creating our models. Just get those we'll probably just scaffold these things, honestly, because I think there's a new scaffold command where it'll actually use Tailwind when it generates the scaffold, which will be sweet, right? We'll get a nice little head start with that. Obviously, we're going to change all of it for how we edit a form, and that's kind of the point. So let's go ahead and cd into our directory. And let's clear that and run bin setup. Make sure dependencies are installed, database gets created. Okay. Oh, and then it just ran our server. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and rename this tmux window to server. Create another one. And let's go ahead and clean a couple of things up in here before we commit. I want to go to our gem file and see what we have here. Yep. All good, all good. Actually, I'm curious how this is going to change. Should bring it back, right? There we go. There's all of our solid cache, solid queue, solid cable. Those are all new in Rails 8. We're going to definitely dig into these more in future videos. Stay tuned for those. Watch out for them. They're going to be good. Yep. We're also going to do this, right? We're going to deploy this anywhere as a Docker container. So we'll leave that in there. HTTP asset caching and compression. Thruster, nice. That's new in Rails 8 as well. I'm gonna leave that off for now. We don't need images. That's fine. Static analysis. And install pry rails. What else do we want to do? Normally I would get rid of all these comments, but I'm going to keep some of them, honestly, because these are helpful references. Because I could always create another project with it. All right. Always create another project with it. That should be fine. Okay, in that case, go ahead and sort those alphabetically. Those as well. That one should be good. We are going to want to install some other gems to get testing and stuff set up. We're not going to worry about testing yet. Those are dependencies and things I usually like to do at the very beginning of a project, just to get it going, get everything configured and ready to get into that flow state, right? And some of this I feel is just setup, which we're going to create another video on how to create a Rails template, because I started playing around with that as I'm creating a lot more applications for teaching and streaming and stuff like that. I wanted an easy way to just do Rails new and pass it in a template, give it a project name, and have it do all these things for me already. Have the gem file already formatted and ready to go. If I choose to use Slim instead of ERB, then it already installs Slim and converts all the files. Matter of fact, let's go ahead and do that now, because I think that's just going to be... well, let's see. Let's actually see what we get generated first. So let's go in our views. We have an application layout. Yeah, same as before, right? So nothing crazy there. And we don't have anything else in here. So I think we could just convert this over to Slim. And that would kind of simplify this a bit. So what do we need to do? Well, let's go back to our gem file. And I think it's just... yeah, is it just Slim Rails? I don't know. Let's see. Let's go and run our bundle. Yeah. Okay, and then how do we convert? It's like... it's like... it's a gem, right? Like HTML to ERB, Rails. It's more like convert ERB to Slim Rails. Yeah, it's ERB to Slim, right? Does it work? This Haml to Slim. I don't need Haml to Slim. I need ERB. Let's try it. Or not. We'll see if it works. Hopefully it does. I thought there used to just be a command line to do it, right? It was like ERB. Right, but that doesn't work. Okay. So we go in our views directory. We only have layouts, and now everything's a Slim file. Okay. Yeah, that should be fine. There's not really anything in there. And the default generator should be Slim now, right? All right, so What are we doing now? What are we doing? It seems like that worked, right? Let's go ahead and commit. Oh, we have a kind of a clean slate there. All right, now we should have. I don't see Tailwind. Interesting. Okay. How do we install? Okay, bundle add Tailwind CSS. And then Rails Tailwind CSS install. I don't know if that's accurate. Okay, I did create our config. Yeah, I don't know if we want it there. Interesting. All right. Oh, interesting. So it actually already had it. Yeah, could have swore it did. Okay, so there's our config. Let's go ahead and add all the Tailwind plugins. What's the other one? It's like container queries. Let's look it up. Yeah, container queries. Line clamp is not one any longer. And we also need to add all of these. Okay. Okay. That should have added those. And we'll just do commit. Okay. So what do we want to do? I'm actually just getting started. I've been kind of planning it and talking about it. So decided to go with Rails 8. And so we're just kind of jumping in with Rails 8 and getting some things configured. So we're actually about to kind of scaffold out some of the models here. So yeah. Okay. All right, so let's actually jump in and I don't necessarily want to generate a controller and everything for it, so let's just generate some models, and I think that'll help us kind of get going with this. So we need a form first, and name, permalink, confirmation message. I don't think we change that? Oh, we did. We changed that quite a bit actually. Let's just take this, throw it over here, that to the side, and let's see. So we're going to create a form model, name, string, permalink string, header string, description, text. Confirmation message, text, state. That can be a string. And we have our timestamps. I don't think we need anything else. Do that. And go ahead and do the same thing for our form section. Form belongs to header, string, description, text, rows, integer, columns, integer, order, integer, and we'll have our timestamps. That should be good. And let's go ahead and generate our form field. And this is going to have a form belongs to form section belongs to, and oh, I'm realizing now we didn't actually finish building out our form field. So let's go ahead and talk through that real quick. So we have the form ID, the form section ID. We're going to want an input type. It's going to be a string. And we're also going to want a label. We're also going to want an optional placeholder. Some optional help text to go underneath the field. We're also going to need, let's see, a required attribute. We could, I don't know if it's necessary, unless you want a field that starts out as disabled. I don't know if it's necessary to have disabled. We'll hold off on that, but I could see that for like conditionally enabling fields or disabling fields. But I would think you would just do that on the fly. It's only if you wanted the initial state of a input field to be disabled would you need it. So could add it, but don't think we need it. Make the music louder or the sound audio louder? Like the mic? Is that better? Or is the music too low? Yeah, that would be the goal, is to add conditional logic in the future. Right now, I'm just trying to like build out the initial form builder, kind of going for something like, what was it? Like this, where you can define different sections and then add fields within those sections, and then configure the properties for each one of the fields within the sections. And you would have properties for the section as well, just to configure the headers and stuff like that. But then, yeah, you could add conditional logic. Okay, cool, thanks. All right, so thank you. All right, let's jump back in it. We have our form field. Oh yeah, we didn't. Template type, label, placeholder required. What else? That's probably fine for now. We can always add something else to it. So form section belongs to input type string, label string, placeholder string, help text, required boolean, and see, input type label placeholder help text required, input type label placeholder help text required. That should be good. And if we need something else, we can add it. Okay, so let's take a look at those. All right, so we're going to create form. We need to clean all of this up. So null, false. Oops. Yeah, default will be draft for the state. All right, let's look at our form sections, do the same. This is like one instance where Copilot is useful in its inference, right? Because we want to default to having one row and one column in a section. And if you want multiple columns or rows, or I haven't really thought through how we're going to fully do the layout, but we'll figure it out when we get there. Okay, so header description form, that should be good. So form section belongs to a form. All right, let's check out our form fields. Well, we have both of our foreign keys. We could also constrain this at the database level for our types of input. So you can't just like stick randomness in there. We're not really going to do that right now, but could. Default is false. You know, I'm going to add disabled in here anyways, just because I can envision us wanting that with conditional formatting to have something disabled unless you select another option or enter a value into another field or something like that. That seems like a thing we would want. Okay, so that looks good there. Let's just go ahead and migrate the database. And I did want to check, let's check our models. All right, so we have our form. So our form field belongs to our form section. Our form section has many form fields. Yep. And then our form has many form sections and form fields. Let's, yep. Oh, that's an idea to track the form. We're tracking the form submissions too, but let's just worry about building the form now. Okay, so let's go ahead and add those. And now let's go into our routes. I'll get rid of some of this. Yeah, I don't need any of that. All right, so for now, we're just going to route to forms index. Yeah. Well, let's say that. Or side tangent. Oh. Side tangent might be to check out the new Rails 8 authentication. Right, we can just Rails G authentication. I think we're still going to want this, but we could. All right. See if that's any better. Turn the music back down some. There's a delay, so I didn't see the message. All right. So we just want forms index, right? That's where we're gonna have our new our page to kind of create a new form. And then, well, I guess we're just gonna use, we want both, right? So we still want that. We're gonna have resource forms. Yeah, we're gonna want form submissions as well, but not right now. So for fields, it's kind of interesting. How are we gonna do this, right? So we need to be able to create a new form first. How we might do that in like just a modal or something, right? So you don't need to go to a whole new form to create a form. Maybe. Because that might be, let's see, I'm sure Tailwind UI has a modal. Almost certain they do. So they have like alerts. Modal dialogues. There we go. We could just take kind of one of these. Maybe this one. But I think this is exactly the type of thing that would be a good example to be a view component and have its own kind of state, and then bind that to a stimulus controller for any of the JavaScript functionality, like couple that with a stimulus controller. Like I'm very curious how those things work together. I'll have to check that out at some point. Anyways, we could just do it in a dialogue. We could just do it in a page. But essentially, we need an index page where we can start creating our forms. I don't know what we have that say, but you know. Something probably gonna have like a table forms here. I don't know, something like that. Let's go ahead and restart our server. Whoops, that's not what we wanted. Just make sure our database is good. Okay. No, sorry. Bin dev is what we want. Let's restart that. Okay, cool. We have it. It's there. Doesn't look like anything. I think we're just gonna take a bunch of code from Tailwind CSS to not spend too much time on that. In which case, using Slim for this was probably not the best idea. We probably want to go back to ERB. So let's see. Yeah. We want this. And let's see if there's a way. So we need this tool, right? This is the one that I was talking about. Slim to HTML. That was the gem. That was the gem we needed earlier. And I want to convert back to ERB. So, why is the command not found if it installed? Okay. So we shouldn't have but 2 views, so I don't think it's going to be an issue if we needed to convert. let's just look. So we left our other views. Didn't put anything in there. That's cool. That's not what we wanted. I wonder though, if we just, no, we don't have enough history to go back. Okay. So let's see if ChatGPT can do it. Convert this to ERB. Not that. That's, no. And what's our other view? I know one thing we'll have to do is we'll have to remove the gem. Just to make sure that the generators are not using Slim. Okay. Yeah, because the only other file we have is our forms index. Oh, and that converted fine. I mean, it's all in single line, but it is semantically correct HTML. So we wanted nothing in there. Let's go ahead and delete that one. Oh, we're gonna have to convert the mailers too. Okay. Okay. There we go. Convert that one. Text. That's fine. Oh, okay. All right. I think we are gonna have to restart our Rails server just because of that. It'd be cool if we can actually get the, one of the big things with Rails 8 is the kind of zero config or minimal config deploy to any server and not needing a platform as a service like Heroku to host your application. They're really embracing Linux over at 37 Signals, and so making Rails more accessible and easier to deploy and get everywhere is really cool because it can be quite expensive to pay for one of those services to host an application, especially if you start to get some traction and some real users. So we're gonna try that out. Probably won't happen in this stream, but we are gonna try that out. Okay, let's. Okay, so we're still there. That all looks good. We don't need that. Yep. Forms index. Okay. So we need a way to create a form. And I feel like we should probably just... Wonder if we should... I mean, I guess we should build that out here. Let's take a look at our dribble example. I wonder if they have any other examples here. Looks like it is just a table of forms. There. Turn that off for a second. Okay. Yeah, interesting. So maybe it is just like a table. So we come here to Tailwind, go to the markup, and we really just need the table classes so that we can have a table look the way that we want. Yeah, I think we want the most generic version, right? So let's just take this and come back here. And let's see what we have. We have application.tailwind.css. Cool. Tables. Yep. And I don't know what we have for that. So let's go back and take a look. So for our table header, padding left 0, small. I'm going to get a little extra for the first column. Is that what's happening? Padding left none for the interesting. Okay, let's just stick with that. And we'll set these other ones too, but let's just get the general ones down. Right. In table th first child, and we're going to apply some different classes for that one. Yeah, same thing. We're going to apply some different classes for the first TD. Right, if we're trying to match this exactly. Put those in there. Let's go and check our build logs. Sure we're good? Yeah, we're good. Okay. So we don't have any forms right now. We could probably just start out by generating a couple of forms. So let's see. Create forms. I'm gonna use some chat GPT here, right? So given this migration, generate me, I don't know, 10 forms for seed. Seeds RB data. And we'll let that generate for just a second. All right, it looks like we have it. So let's do this. Let's go ahead and copy that. Let's open up our seeds file and let's paste this in. And what this is going to do is just generate a bunch of forms in different states. Instead of published, I don't know if I want published. Yeah, it's fine. Do I care? No, we don't really have a state machine yet, but I would probably make that like active or online. I don't know, published, unpublished, right? Feels like, I don't know, let's just do published, active. Okay. Yeah, so it's just going to create 10 forms for us. So Rails DB seed. Let's go ahead and do that. Create some forms. Okay. So now if we come back to our index, well, we need to open up our controller. Interesting that doesn't just work there. Anyways, app controllers, only one, so sure. Let's actually order by, yeah, that's fine. That's fine. I think you would want them newest ones, right? What do you want? Yeah. Could always search for them, so it's fine. Okay, so we're gonna say forms.each do form, right? And we need to give this context. So table. What do we want? So yeah. Want that there. And yeah, close that. Oh my goodness. Why can't I type? Okay. So what do we want for a form? Let's say. So we want to display our header, maybe. Yeah, I can see us wanting that. I could see us wanting to see the permalink. I could see us wanting to see the status. And I could see us wanting some actions. Maybe created. Updated. Sure. Why not? And some actions. Okay. So in here, yeah. So this route doesn't exist. So I think this will blow up. Oh, but if our Tailwind style is working, we should get a form. Okay, yeah, so status doesn't exist. So status is actually state. They're probably named it status, but we're going to use state machines for it. So more of a state. All right, yeah, and like I said, our link's going to blow up here because we don't have a show view to go to kind of edit the form or preview the form. And that's just because we don't have the routes configured for those. So if we just go into our routes and yeah, we're going to have resources forms. You'll be able to come back and reload. And now we get a table of all of our forms. Cool. We obviously need something going on with the container here. So I don't think we want to be full width. We might have a sidebar and a nav bar or something like that. Some global site elements, right? Let's see. Pull that over there. Yeah. So, yeah, we'll probably have to do a part 2 of this before we get too deep into the actual form building. Excuse me. But that's okay, because I actually want to try out some of the authentication stuff too. And it might make sense to associate the forms with a given user, right? Let's see, how does this respond on mobile? So it doesn't because it's a table. So we probably just want name and status on mobile. So how do we hide columns on mobile? I know there was one in here that was like was stacked columns on mobile. Yeah, we would kind of want it to stack like this on mobile. That's kind of cool. All right, so what are they doing? What are they doing for this? See, and this is where the problem is around, so that's still fine, min width full, right? Check that. Yeah, that's still fine. But we don't necessarily want these as like global styles because we want to be able to configure it per table. Like this should always be visible, but that shouldn't. Right, so we can just override it. Right, come here and say, and well, is it the same thing? But we're just adding hidden and large table cell. What it looks like. That looks the same. And hidden by default. Right? We want that always visible. Gotta be something else. Something else at play. All right, so what else are we doing? What else are we doing? So what does it collapse to? Collapse down to name and role, right? And edit. Oh, we didn't add the body. We didn't add the body clock. No? Yeah? Yeah? Yeah, so we have to hide the other fields here. Yeah, and then bring them back similarly. All right, so that's basically everything but name and status, right? So we're gonna grab everything inside. Actually, no, we can just do this and yank that. And then easily come in here and add it. And try that. There we go. We have to close that. We get the full table. But if we're on mobile, we just get the name and the status, which is what we want. Let's go ahead and fix our heading up top now. And we do need some type of container. Because it's kind of a full width thing. We don't really have a container. And I feel like on one hand, that is what the layout is for. But on another hand, I feel like that gets screwed up all the time. So yeah, we're not going to be working in kind of a mobile layout. So just put that on the bottom. Okay, so even just adding some padding on here could help. So for now, we're just going to add some global padding. Like, I think it's fine. We just want to push everything over, give it a little bit of breathing room so we can keep on building. So we're listing out our forms. let's come back here to our forms index. So I don't need this. I don't need that yet. We're still good with that for now. Let's come down here, close our controller. Okay. So we have our table, and for each of our rows, we're going to say something like, what do we want to do here? I think we need, do we have to do each with index? I think we need each with index. Yeah. So we're going to do each with index, and that's going to be the element and then the index. And then here, we're going to say, oh yeah, we could just do BG gray 100, gray 100 if index dot odd, for example. I guess you'd want even. So we start out with a blank one. And that'll give us a striped table. Probably do want some left padding. So let's see, close that. And let's come back here. So first child. I don't think we want to do that. I don't think we want to never have, yeah. Yeah. Just remove that. I don't think that's, okay. I am okay with that. Let's make that 50 instead of 100. Okay. Maybe 100's okay. Okay, so we have a list of tables. Let's see. Let's clean up our dates real quick. Okay. I actually typed those correctly. Okay. those are all generated at the same time, and so they're all going to be the same time. We also haven't modified them yet, so that's fine. Again, not 100% on how this will look. I'm just trying to throw something together pretty quickly. The focus of this stream is not CSS, right? So the goal here is to primarily talk about how to create this kind of form building experience using Hotwire and Stimulus. That's the goal. So we'll probably pick up in the next stream where we left off here. This is probably going to be a couple of streams to get through this. Maybe we'll consolidate it into some videos. Yeah, we'll see. I know there was just a lot of planning in this stream, but sometimes that's just how it goes. So I hope you enjoyed it. I will publish this a little bit later for others to watch. As always, if you haven't, please make sure to like and subscribe. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what you'd like to see me build, what you'd like to learn about, and I'll see you in the next one. Later.